സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ക്യാമറ ആക്ഷൻ. ഹേ ഗായ്സ്, ഇന്നത്തെ ദിവസം നിങ്ങൾക്കൊരു അടിപൊളി ദിവസം ആവട്ടെ എന്ന് ആശംസിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് ഇന്നത്തെ നമ്മുടെ ഒരു സൂപ്പർ വീഡിയോ തുടങ്ങട്ടെ. അപ്പോൾ ലെറ്റ്സ് സ്റ്റാർട്ട്. ഹായ്, വാട്സ്ആപ്പ് ഗായ്സ്, വെൽക്കം ബാക്ക് ടു അനദർ എപ്പിസോഡ് ഓഫ് യൂണിവേഴ്സൽ ഫിലിം സ്റ്റാർസ് ആൻഡ് സ്റ്റുഡിയോസ് ആൻഡ് ഇറ്റ്സ് മീ ബി ശിവറാം. ലെറ്റ്സ് വാച്ച് ഇറ്റ്.
There are different ways to make films that have CG characters. What we're interested in with performance capture is the totality of the performance. Physical, emotional, facial, the eyes, everything. The actor creates the emotion. The actor creates the moment. It's our job to make sure that everything the actor did is preserved in their CG character.
You are very hard on them.
I'm their father. It's my job.
Everything that Jake Sully as a Na'vi does, Sam has done.
I thought we lost them.
You can capture the emotion, you can capture the subtleties, the nuances of the movements, you can capture the eye, you can capture the tics, everything. Capture it all.
I'll be nice once, then I won't.
Pandora, this is our home. But the humans are returning. Wherever we go.
The motion picture event.
This family is our fortress.
Of a generation arrives.
Dad, I'm a warrior like you.
Protect the people.
Let's get it done.
Outcasts, that's all they see.
I see you.
Dad, I'm a warrior like you. I'm supposed to fight.
Protect the people. The moment I saw her for the first time, I was just like, you're just so beautiful. Blue has never looked more beautiful.
This is not a squad. It is a family.
The amazing thing is that the technology gives me that portal to bring my 14-year-old self to play this girl.
Avatars only, go round.
In making a movie set on Pandora, Pandora doesn't exist. Avatars don't exist at 9 foot tall. We have actors working in a volume with markers on their body, facial head rigs on their head, and we capture 100% of their performance in the digital world.
Why do you come to us? The humans are returning. They're hunting us. You do not know the sea. We will learn your ways.
If you want to live here, you have to ride.
We must protect the people.
Let's get it done.
At the beginning of the day, the first thing we do is get into the performance capture suit, and that is a skin-tight two-piece, and it's totally filled with ping-pong-like balls around us, so they can then track my arm and then translate that into the virtual world. They have all these little cameras that send these little rays which give an image of you moving around, so every little movement is your movement.
And then we put a head rig on, and it's a helmet, and it has a camera that's right in front of your face.
One of the big advances that we've made technologically on the sequels is the facial performance capture. We are capturing a much higher fidelity of performance.
But I know one thing. This family is our fortress.
I went to the studio and I said, let's not just do another movie. Let's swing for the fences.
I think what people are in store for is Avatar but times 100. It takes it to a whole other place.
I've never seen anything like this in a movie. It picks up where it left off, and he just...
It was wild. My eyes were glued to the screen, and I can't wait for people to see it. The world is bigger
The stakes are higher.
This is our home!
I was always looking at everything in wonder.
What Jim is trying to create is very truthful, very emotional and grounded tales.
I need you to be strong.
A family trying to survive.
Strong-hearted.
It's really got this level of magic and crazy. It takes years to make these movies, but there's nothing like this.
It was the experience of the first movie, but on steroids.
I've done a lot of green screen, I've done a lot of blue screen, but never anything, of course, like this, where there really is no screen. You're just acting in a space.
Now you must stand with us.
I've always thought that being in the volume is about playing and imagination, and there is no kind of fear or no shame. You can do whatever you need to do to get to that truth.
Saving their lives, that's all that matters.
I have had to work completely differently than I ever have before, and it's been an amazing experience to go back in time.
Why am I different?
It is just remarkable to be able to see the movements and the performance go straight into the character. And it's like, there's Kate, and then, hey, there's Renard. So that has been fascinating to me.
What is this, Tonowari? What is this?
I find as a director, I'm much more attuned to the
To me, you're really only 14 the way you act most of the time, so you can do this. I think a lot of us remember that age in a very vivid way, where you don't feel you can fit in. We talked originally about just this girl who was more at home in the forest, more at home with the plants than with people.
I come from a family of matriarchs mostly, so tapping into that was very rewarding for me. Now that I'm a mother, becoming Neytiri was really inward journey for me that I've been able to benefit still to this day.
Stephen, you're coming back in this movie. Tell us about that a little bit.
I know you're all asking yourselves the same question. Why so blue?
To take a character who represents the most kind of antiquated and limited point of view of a planet, which is Quaritch in the original Avatar, and by placing him within the context of a Na'vi body, it advances Quaritch's own point of view. He is brain-locked on mission, always has been. That's not the case anymore. There are worms of doubt. The planet is really, really working on him.
It's fantastic to see that everything we worked on so hard, this is what it gives the audience.
Every time James Cameron makes a movie, it is often the most expensive and most ambitious production to date. And if the current filmmaking technology doesn't match his vision, he creates his own technology. When he made Avatar, it was a quantum leap forward in performance capture photography. And now, with Avatar 2, he's done it once again. This is how they shot it. Series, we've covered movies like Titanic, Top Gun Maverick, and Everything Everywhere All at Once. Let us know which film we should tackle next. Now, off to Pandora we go.
Let's dance.
James Cameron had been dreaming of Avatar for decades. He wrote the original treatment before making Titanic, but the technology at the time could not match his vision.
I was on a quest for the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail was to be able to reproduce full human emotion in a CG character.
So he waited, and over the next few years, he oversaw the development of the tech and processes required. In 2007, they finally cracked the code. For Cameron's sci-fi epic, 3 different camera systems were used for 3 different shooting scenarios: CG performance capture, live action, and a hybrid of the two. The first was a virtual system used for motion capture scenes. Basic motion capture technology works like this. actors wear suits with markers that reflect infrared light back to stationary cameras. This provides data points that animators can use to create a digital character. For Avatar, this was done on a mocap stage called the Volume. While HD reference cameras provided animators with detailed coverage to complete the physical performance, a reported 120 stationary cameras captured the actors' positions and movements. All of this was standard procedure for motion capture. But Cameron added 2 key innovations that pushed this process to the next level. First, each actor wore a small camera rigged to their helmet, whose sole purpose was to capture the facial performances. This is why Cameron prefers the term performance capture and not simply motion capture. Previous films tried to animate faces without these cameras, but for Cameron, the results were unsatisfactory. The helmet cam gave the animators the solid foundation they needed to render the emotional spectrum he wanted.
I trusted you!
Trust me now, please.
Second, a virtual camera could render the actors as their eventual CG characters and their environments in real time. They dubbed this the swing camera for its ability to shoot in any direction, as Cameron explains. Volume also played a key role in the production design. While the sets were being built for the upcoming live-action part of the production, Cameron could use the virtual camera to rehearse the scenes in a virtual set. In this process, changes discovered on the virtual set could be applied to the actual set they would shoot on later. The final task, using the virtual camera, was done months after the initial performance capture. With the actors' work done, Cameron worked alone in the Volume to choose the final shots of those performances, including the close-ups that showcased the human emotions in CG characters he was after from the beginning. These shots eventually went to Weta Digital for the final renders. Once the performance capture was complete, the crew packed up and headed to New Zealand to shoot all the live-action footage with the Fusion 3D camera. The Fusion camera rig had 2 Sony f950 cameras to shoot native 3D. One was mounted horizontally, and the other was mounted vertically, shooting through a beam splitter. This meant that one camera shot left eye footage, and the other shot footage for the right eye. Previous 3D cameras were locked in a rig, but the Fusion rig can articulate each camera to mimic how the human eye adjusts to perceive depth and focus. This creates a more natural 3D effect that matches our own vision. The Fusion camera was also used for shots that combined both CGI and live-action elements. This was called the Simulcam system. Reflective markers were placed on the Fusion camera rig so that it could be registered by the motion capture system. Through the camera monitor, live-action elements could be composed and timed with previously captured CG performances. Today, we know this as augmented reality. What the Simulcam provides is more control and flexibility when compositing live action with CGI. The more traditional process shoots actors against a green screen first. Then the animators are forced to match their work to the actor, which often creates compromises. The Simulcam system reduces those potential compromises by giving the actors and filmmakers more accurate reference points. They could adjust the framing or match the timing of both live action and CG performances. The end product, then, is a more seamlessly integrated shot. Avatar went on to become the highest-grossing movie of all time. Apparently, all the hard work really paid off.
Look at all that cheddar.
But when it came time to head back to Pandora for the sequel, these revolutionary techniques evolved even further. Avatar saw a leap forward in technology and filmmaking. And 13 years later, Cameron and his team did it again for the sequel. Following the first film, the sequel would be shot in 3D. But what about shooting 3D underwater? The camera options at the time were large and difficult to operate. They were also subject to distortions and artifacts because they had to shoot through ports on the housing. But then Cameron discovered DP and inventor Powell Ortel, who had developed a next-gen 3D underwater camera never before used in a feature film. The DeepX 3D is similar to Cameron's Fusion 3D system, using 2 cameras and a beam splitter. For lenses, Ortel used Nikonos submersible lenses, meaning they can work outside the housing for supreme clarity. Besides the 3D camera, the entire performance capture process was also made to work underwater, which naturally gave rise to a brand new set of challenges. For one, the performance capture stage was now set up inside a tank with 900,000 gallons of water. But the scale and demands placed on the actors for Avatar 2 were unprecedented. They could have shot these scenes dry for wet, which they did for the original Avatar. This involves suspending the actors from wires and having them swim through the air. But Cameron, being Cameron, it was the authenticity of being underwater that would yield the most accurate references for the animators. One problem they encountered involved how light interacted with water. These reflections created false markers that disrupted the performance capture cameras. To counteract this, they covered the water's surface with white plastic balls to eliminate the reflections, but still let light through. Perhaps the biggest challenge for the actors was holding their breath. As Cameron explains, using scuba gear simply could not work. Scuba bubbles would create too much noise in our performance capture system, so no matter how long the scene took, if it took 2, 3, 4 minutes to shoot, everybody was holding their breath. The cast trained with professional divers to be able to act underwater for minutes at a time. Sigourney Weaver was able to work underwater for over 6 minutes. And Kate Winslet broke Tom Cruise's record for the longest breath hold for a film with a staggering 7 minutes and 14 seconds. This world. Who knows what they'll come up with for Avatar 3? All of this effort to make these films is solely driven by Cameron's quest to infuse CG characters with human emotions. The biggest complaint about CGI is that no matter how real it looks, it still feels unnatural. As long as filmmakers like Cameron push what's possible with these technologies, that bridge between natural and unnatural gets shorter and shorter.
Let's get it done.
Avatar: The Way of Water. Rated PG-13. Experience it in 3D. On 3D in all formats.